Hello, and welcome to a day in the life of a girl who has no job. Except it is 5:38 p.m. when I'm filming this. Anyway, if you're new here, I was laid off from my corporate job a few months ago, and I am now in the thick of trying to figure out how I identify. Am I unemployed? Am I self-employed? Am I unemployed? The world may never know. Add into the mix that it is one of my goals to be a professional writer and filmmaker, but that is technically not my job either because no one pays me to do it. I'm in the midst of trying to figure out all these things myself, so what better way than to take you all along with me? And by take you along with me, I mean watch me clean my apartment while I talk about my life. Okay, step one, I need to do something about the dishes, and that is wash them because I don't have a dishwasher. But like, hot take, of all the amenities that I could possibly want in an apartment, I do think a dishwasher is like on the lowest one, especially when we're talking like New York and simply not having like bugs in your apartment is considered an amenity. Also, I think dishwashers make you buy way more dishes than you actually need, especially if you're like only 1 or 2 people. Like, you probably don't need like 10 plates, but you can have 10 plates because you can let like 9 of them get dirty and sit in the dishwasher and be cleaned all at once. Anyway, whatever, dishwashers were a scam invented by Big Plate so that we all buy more plates. I'm gonna wash these.
While we are on the topic of household chores and appliances, a lot of people falsely assume that modern technology, like dishwashers, laundry machines, and stoves, have lowered the amount of time women spend on domestic labor, but the effects of these tools are a lot more ambiguous than we realize. While these appliances make chores less tedious, they haven't lowered the amount of women's work. Women performing these tasks can get a lot more done, but they still largely do it alone. In fact, these machines have raised our standards of cleanliness, but as those standards have risen, the woman in a household is still responsible for doing the lion's share of the work to meet them. Thanks for tuning in to Amanda's Domestic Labor Fun Fact of the Day.
I moved into this apartment in the peak of the summertime, and where flies and things are just like in the air, and it did not come with bug screens. And I asked them, I was like, hey, could you put in bug screens? And they're like, that is not our responsibility. So I got these like fly traps. We caught a juicy one on this bad boy. They're like grossly satisfying to look at, but I think it's time to put them in the trash at this point.
Okay, so it's time for me to take out the trash, and while I'm at it, I also want to take out my trash mindset of self-doubt. I feel like recently I have been doubting myself on this journey of whatever you want to call my employment status. I've definitely been experiencing self-doubt and feeling like I don't know why I'm doing anything I'm doing, but I think it's honestly a product of like overthinking things, and I am just trying to get into like better routines of creating, of not staying up, oh my god, there's a bee, of not staying up super late, giving myself permission to take it slow, which I know sounds ironic because I'm like, this is about me not having a job, like aren't I inherently taking it slow? Perhaps, but I think I still set these pretty unrealistic goals and expectations for myself. It's not to say that I think that I need to lower my standards. I think I would just feel a lot better about myself if I created more realistic goals, especially, I mean, honestly, on a day-to-day basis. Like, I just always come up with the most like absurd to-do list of like 5 million things that I know I will not accomplish. So then I really feel like shit at the end of the day when I'm like, oh my god, I literally did nothing or one thing, because I was just like so overwhelmed with the sheer amount of things that I set out to do. So I'm trying not to do that anymore. I'm trying to implement this habit of making a to-do list with only 3 things on it and actually trying to get those things done. I'm starting my affirmations again. We are taking out the trash of self-doubt, bringing in the affirmations, and also reading The Artist's Way again, because that book really helped me when I read it earlier this year. And I feel like I'm in a place again where I'm feeling like I'm in like a funk, and that book like really helped me reframe my mindset and my thinking and how I talk to myself. So yeah.
It is time to tackle arguably the most grueling part of this cleaning endeavor, the bathroom. One thing you should know about living in a pre-board apartment is that I actually don't think there is a way to make the bathroom physically clean again. I think they would have to fully gut renovate it. I think no matter what, you just have to be okay with the fact that you are going to have someone else's skin cells embedded in the grime that has accrued over the decades of people living in this apartment. So I've been scrubbing, and actually like a lot of this like nasty stuff is coming off, but I'm also like, I think this is like the literal grout that like prevents it from getting water underneath the tiles. So it is the next day, but 24 hours has not yet elapsed, so it's still a true day in the life vlog. I've been trying to start off my days with the morning pages again, which is 3 pages of stream of conscious, whatever comes to your head, thoughts. The only objective is to fill the pages. So one thing about being untraditionally employed is that there is a lot less structure, and honestly, I am someone who thrives with structure. If I know I have to be somewhere at like 10 a.m., like I'm gonna make sure I get the stuff done that I wanna get done before 10 a.m. But if I don't have anywhere to be, it's like I will just expand everything that I need to do to fit like 24 hours. I'll basically procrastinate. Anyway, this has led me to taking a lot more classes, so I can feel like my time is somewhat segmented, and also I'm like a schoolgirl. Like I love class. Like yeah, I've taken trampoline class, ballet class, improv class, and now thanks to Lingoda, I am starting French classes.
Je passe maintenant à Amanda. Amanda, bonjour.
Bonjour.
Ça va?
Ça va bien.
Très bien. Tu habites où, Amanda?
J'habite en États-Unis.
If you too are interested in adding a class to your daily routine, Lingoda classes are flexible, convenient, and offered around the world, around the clock. There's a max of 5 students, so you have a very interactive and engaging experience with a native level teacher. And Lingoda offers 2-month language learning challenges called Sprints and Super Sprints. Sprints are 30 classes total within that 2-month time frame, and Super Sprints are 60 classes total. If you finish the challenge, you can earn 50% of your money back, and over 14,000 students have completed the challenge. I am going to keep taking classes until I finally reach that moment when I can watch a full movie in French. So click the link below for more information and use my code Amanda25 for $25 or 20 euros off your Sprint registration.
That Lingoda class was like super fun and very nice to stimulate my brain in that way. But yeah, I think now I'm gonna go to the grocery store and pick up a few ingredients, namely zucchinis, to make zucchini bread, because I've been meaning to make zucchini bread for like a minute and I keep on putting it off. The first time I tried zucchini bread was like a core memory of mine. I was probably in elementary school and I was at church, and I feel like my mom was like, oh, like here's some zucchini bread. Like they were like selling it at a bake sale. And I was like, ew, like I'm not gonna eat like bread made out of vegetables. But I opened my palette and I tried it and it was so good. I'm a texture person. I like things that like have variety in the way that you chomp on them. You don't know if you're gonna get a nut. You don't know if you're gonna get a chocolate chip. You don't know if you're gonna get bread. I love the chase. I love the excitement of that. Food with texture is like the equivalent of watching something with a split screen of Subway Surfers or with not. Like, you know what I mean? You kind of just like need variety to keep your mouth engaged. I had to remove my sweater because I'm honestly very hot with the oven preheating and there's no AC in here. This is what the batter's looking like, but I'm like, hold on, this is kind of resembling cookie dough. And I am wondering if I misstepped, if I did something wrong, but hopefully not.
Nothing in this world can compare with you. I still love you. I'm so all alone. Places we used to go. I don't go there no more.
Okay. Hello, I am coming to you live from the Greenwood Cemetery, and I really hope that's not as weird as it sounds. Anyway, I'm out here because, you know, it's a change of scenery, and honestly, cemeteries are really peaceful for a reason, and honestly, this cemetery is like so lush in green. It's hard not to feel a little bit rejuvenated and full of life, ironically, because there's so much beautiful nature here, as well as beautiful tombstones. Anyway, I brought a piece of zucchini bread to consume if I get hungry, but I also thought I'd use this section of the vlog to talk about some things that I've been consuming lately. So one of them I actually brought with me, The Artist's Way. If you've seen my other videos before, you probably know that I have read The Artist's Way. I did it in a book club, and it was a really great experience. Something else I've been consuming, another book I've been reading for the past like month and a half or so, is The Power Broker by Robert Caro. I don't have it with me because it is a thick book, and that's my one complaint. It's just like annoying to lug around, but it's the biography of Robert Moses, who basically built a lot of public infrastructure in the state of New York, and especially in New York City. He was the New York City Parks Commissioner. Yeah, so it's been super interesting to read that, especially as someone who lives in New York, because they talk about a lot of things and a lot of places that I'm like pretty familiar with. And even the stuff that I haven't been to, like some of the things they mention, I'm like, I don't even want to like, I kind of like want to like visit all these places after I finish reading the book. So I can kind of like see them for myself. This is so dumb, but I've been like, oh my gosh, I don't want to spoil what happens next, even though it's like literally a biography of things that have happened like over 100 years ago, or like at least over like 50 years ago. But that has been a really great read, and I'm usually not the type to read biographies, but it's honestly written in such a dramatic and cinematic way that like it doesn't feel like you're just like reading a dry ass Wikipedia page. Like, the author is really weaving a tale, and you can also really clearly see the author's perspective in it, and he's not someone who has like a reverence or glorifies Robert Moses. He is very pragmatic in that he's like, what he did was awesome, and awesome in the fact of like awesome, inspired awe. No one was able to build as much and create as much as he was able to, but he also like recognizes that like he abused his power, and he was incredibly flawed. He was racist. He was just kind of mean. Anyway, yeah, that's just been a super interesting read. In terms of what I've been watching recently, I watched Bottoms, which is the new movie by Emma Seligman starring Rachel Sennett and Ayo Edebiri. Super funny, like high school teen comedy a la Superbad, except it's about these two lesbians who try to get girls at their school to like them by starting a fight club. it was honestly so funny and like so punchy. Like I never felt bored during that movie, and I'm like notorious for falling asleep in movies. My eyes did not blink, my eyes did not shut. It was a cool 90 minutes, perfect length in my opinion. Whenever I watch a movie, I'm super inspired to like search up what the director's references were, because I only like this year realized that like the importance of like having references and the beauty of like being able to trace back, like, oh, they were inspired by this movie, and then trace back even further, okay, like what was this movie inspired by, and like form a whole like family tree of references, and like combining all those things that are already made and like using them in different ways and putting them together like in a different puzzle always creates something new and unique. But anyway, because I watched Bottoms, I saw that one of the movies that inspired the director was Bring It On. And obviously like I know of Bring It On, but I realized I like never actually truly watched it. Like I've seen clips of it, but I never saw it. So I decided to watch that after watching Bottoms, and I was like, this is amazing. And it also really reminded me of Stick It, which after watching it, I was like, oh, okay, the writer and director of Stick It also wrote Bring It On. But yeah, I love like chick flicky movies. I love sporty movies. I love anything involving like uniforms and synchronized movement. Like that is just so satisfying to me, and that is why it's always like secretly been my dream job to be a backup dancer. And that's why I've been having so much fun taking ballet core classes recently. Anyway, I am just going to sit here and read The Artist's Way, maybe chomp on my zucchini bread. But I hope that you guys enjoyed this vlog, and I will see you soon in my next video.